Late night screams with no source, shadows that move on their own, faces with no eyes. These disturbing videos were never meant to be seen, but still got caught on camera. So stay tuned and hit play if you dare. In one abandoned basement, people found a bunch of clown statues that looked like kids. At first, they just seemed like weird decorations, the kind you'd want to avoid in a funhouse. But then, their eyes moved, not like a trick of the light, actually moved, like they were watching. Everyone who saw it felt totally unsettled. It didn't make sense. How could a statue do that? What started as a weird art piece suddenly felt way too real. I mean, clowns are scary enough without the horror movie behavior. Backseat ghost. Two friends were driving late one night, just cruising along a quiet road, when they spotted a man standing by the side. He wasn't just standing, he was pointing directly at their car. They drove past, a little creeped out, but kept going. Then the passenger looked over his shoulder and froze. That same man was suddenly sitting in the back seat, just sitting there, silent. Before either of them could say a word, he disappeared, completely gone. He wasn't a hitchhiker, he was a ghost. And they both saw him. Fly catch. So, this man was recording a video while his wife sat behind him, glued to her phone. A fly flew past, and she casually turned her head to follow it. Then, out of nowhere, she stuck out her tongue and grabbed the fly. But here's the wild part. It wasn't just any tongue, it was long, like a frog's tongue. He couldn't believe his eyes. She didn't even seem surprised, like it was totally normal. But for him, at that moment, she didn't seem human at all. You never know when something weird might happen next. Church of Shadows.
Creepy looking church.
You know how walking into an old building can give you those weird chills? It's like something's hiding in the corners, just waiting for you to notice. One night, a paranormal investigator decided to check out an old, abandoned church, hoping to find something crazy. As he moved through the dusty, dark space, his flashlight landed on a strange figure sitting on a bench. It didn't move, just stared at him with these wide, unblinking eyes. His heart started racing. He could feel it. This wasn't human. Freaked out, he turned and ran out of there as fast as he could.
Hello? Oh my God!
The possession.
I am stronger.
You are not stronger than Christ.
Exorcisms are one of those things that can seem a bit out there, right? But they've been around for centuries, and some people swear by them. A man was performing an exorcism on a woman who was acting super strange. As he worked, she started speaking in weird words, her voice completely different from her own. He calmly placed a cross on her forehead, hoping it would bring peace. The tension in the air was thick as he stayed focused on helping her. Despite her unusual behavior, he knew this was the only way to help her feel better. Midnight wake. A woman was peacefully sleeping in her room when something weird happened. Out of nowhere, she woke up, opened her mouth wide like she was screaming, and her eyes started glowing brightly. Then, just as quickly, she fell back asleep as if nothing had happened. It's definitely one of those moments that makes you question what's real and what's not. What would you do if you saw someone doing this at midnight? Dancing shadow. Shadows can be so creepy sometimes, right? Like, you're chilling, and your shadow just feels off. Well, here's a story that makes you look at your own shadow differently. A little girl was filming a TikTok video, dancing in front of a wall, but then something wild happened. After she stopped dancing and walked away, her shadow it kept moving and dancing on its own. It didn't look like her shadow anymore. It felt like something else was controlling it. Subway chaos. This young woman sat quietly at first, then started acting strange. She pulled at her shirt, took off her necklace, and tossed it aside. Her eyes were closed, like she was in pain or super focused. Later, another clip showed her digging in her bag. Suddenly, she threw her head back, ran her hands through her hair, and let out a growl. People nearby froze. Then out of nowhere, she turned and grabbed the man next to her by the neck and punched him. Invisible push. Sometimes, CCTV catches the strangest things. A woman was walking near a footpath when she stepped down to cross the road, but then she changed her mind and turned back toward the path. That's when it happened. Something suddenly pushed her hard, and she fell backward onto the road. She didn't go on a trip. There was no one around. It honestly looked like someone invisible shoved her. The whole thing was caught on camera, and people online couldn't believe what they saw. It wasn't just a little slip. It looked strong, like a real push. Still not free.
Δεν άντεξες πια.
Και πού το χαμούρε,
Κάτω τα
ξέρε τα
χέρια
μαλάκια
σου.
σου.
Κάτω τα χέρια σου και τα μαλάκια μου αν σε πειράζουν.
Maria went through something truly terrifying a few years ago. People believed she was possessed. Since then, her health never fully came back. She often felt tired, got sick for no reason, and had random pains doctors couldn't explain. But what made it worse was that the strange presence didn't leave completely. Every now and then, a weird voice came out of her mouth. It didn't sound like her at all. Her family said her eyes looked different, her voice changed, and sometimes it was like she wasn't even there. Even after so long, it felt like whatever had entered her still wasn't fully gone.
Δες τα χέρια. Έτσι, έτσι. Δεν άντεξες πια.
Doll moves. Dolls might look cute, but let's be honest, they can also be super creepy, especially when they move on their own. One couple got the scare of their lives when their home camera caught something really strange. It showed one of their dolls slowly moving their hand. The couple watched the video again and again, but couldn't understand what just happened. Behind the curtain. This weird clip appeared in the middle of children cartoons a few decades ago, and it has left a strong impact. A child was lying on the floor, playing quietly, when a strange dark hand with long nails slowly reached out from behind the curtain and grabbed the child. Were the televisions hacked when they played the footage? The people who watched the footage think someone hacked the televisions to play some psychological trick with its audience. Noon behind glass. A man once visited an old abandoned church just out of curiosity. It was dark and silent, and he only had a flashlight. As he walked through the quiet halls, his light hit something strange behind a dusty glass door. At first, he didn't know what it was, but when he looked closer, he saw it looked like a nun. She didn't move or blink, just stood there, staring straight at him. Her face didn't look alive, but the way she looked at him felt real. That's when he realized it wasn't a person. It was the ghost of a nun. Black-eyed stranger. This guy was riding the subway when something caught his eye. He noticed a woman standing nearby, and at first, everything seemed normal. But when he looked closer, he saw her eyes. They were completely black. No whites, no pupils, just pure black. It wasn't like fake contacts or anything. Honestly, if I saw that in real life, I'd be out of there in seconds. Well, the woman wasn't doing anything weird, just standing quietly. But the look in her eyes gave off a super unsettling vibe. Everyone around seemed to ignore it, but the guy just couldn't look away. Red-eyed terror. Exploring abandoned places is never a great idea, but this guy decided to do it anyway. He went into an old, creepy house at night. It was dark, quiet, and just felt off from the moment he walked in. As he walked around with his flashlight, something caught his eye. It wasn't just the old stuff lying around. In the shadows, he saw a strange creature. Its face was bright red, almost glowing. It just stared at him, then started moving closer. No sound, no words, just a creepy stare. Bedtime terror. You know how as kids, we're all terrified of monsters hiding under the bed, right? It's one of those classic fears we all seem to have. But imagine this, a woman was just sitting in her room, when suddenly, out of nowhere, a strange creature crawled out from under her bed. Before she could even react, it grabbed her by the foot. She started panicking, trying to pull away, but the creature's grip was way too strong. In the chaos, she lost her balance, fell to the floor, and then, within seconds, the creature yanked her under the bed and vanished. Haunted doll. You know how dolls can be kind of creepy already, right? Well, things got even weirder when a strange incident was caught on CCTV. In the footage, a doll was sitting on a chair, but out of nowhere, the chair started moving by itself, like something invisible was pushing it. Then, as if that wasn't odd enough, the doll disappeared from the chair. It didn't go far, though. Moments later, it was back on the floor, shifting around on its own. To top it off, the doll climbed up onto a nearby Scotty, sitting there like it was watching everything happening in the room. White Room. Have you ever watched one of those eerie videos that you just can't shake off? This one's definitely one of them. The footage showed a man sitting naked in a strange, all-white room, nervously eating soup with a large wooden spoon. His eyes were censored, but you could see his panic clearly. Then, a huge prosthetic head appeared from behind him, gently stroking his back as if trying to comfort him. But instead of calming him down, it only seemed to make him more upset. A second man, dressed in black and wearing a giant head, entered and joined in. The man at the table broke down in tears. In the second part of the video, two masked figures rushed toward him, and the video abruptly cut off after a loud scream. Room lift. But things took a wild turn for three girls who were chilling in a room. Two of them were dancing, and the third was just on her phone in the corner. Out of nowhere, she was suddenly yanked off the ground and pulled up into the air like something, or someone, was grabbing her. The other two girls were completely frozen, too terrified to move. In a panic, they ran out of the room to get help, leaving the strange scene behind. Face in the air. Sometimes quiet moments can turn super weird in a second. A man was sitting quietly when he suddenly started hearing strange noises. It sounded like someone was talking, but no one else was around. The voice kept going, getting louder and harder to ignore. Curious and a bit nervous, he looked toward the door, and that's when he saw it. A ghostly face just hovering in the air. It showed up out of nowhere, and he completely froze. He didn't move, didn't speak, just stared. What happened next is still unknown, but let's just hope the guy was safe. Under bed shadows. Kids can be sweet until they crawl out from under beds with glowing eyes. This one was captured coming out from under the bed with eerily glowing eyes. Not just that, but something else followed him too. A ghostly creature, almost see-through, crawled behind her. Its eyes glowed too. The child didn't seem scared. It felt like they were connected. How? But don't we all know how such connections end? Possessed guard. A security guard was in the middle of his shift, live on a transmission, when something strange happened. Everything seemed normal at first. He was speaking like usual, but then, out of nowhere, his expression completely changed. His face went blank, and his body started moving in a weird way, like he wasn't in control anymore. His eyes looked glazed over, like he wasn't really there. Then he started talking again, but his voice sounded totally different, almost like it wasn't even him. People watching the live feed were shocked. It was clear that something had taken over, and it didn't feel normal at all. I honestly don't know what I'd do if I saw that happen in real time. Possessed man. A security camera in a shop recorded something really weird. A man was standing in front of a fridge when his body suddenly jerked, like something was making him move. At the same time, a strange shape showed up in the fridge's glass door. While he was trying to stay steady, stuff on the shelves nearby started moving on their own. It looked super creepy, and the whole moment was just strange to watch. Honestly, always keep an eye around you. Your camera might catch something you weren't expecting. Headless Walker. One night, a Ring camera recorded something super strange right outside the front door. It showed someone walking by, but the person had no head. Seriously, the body moved totally normally, no limping or struggling, just a calm walk without a head. It didn't stop or look at the camera, just passed by like it was on a quiet evening stroll. Was it real or just some camera trickery? Let me know, what do you guys think? Face swap scare. Camera filters can be so much fun. Whether it's swapping faces, adding animal ears, or changing your voice, they always bring a few laughs. Two friends were joking around with a face swap filter on a phone, just laughing at how ridiculous they looked. But then something really strange happened. One of them moved a little, and suddenly the filter swapped his face, not with his friend, but with something behind him. When he looked back, there was nothing there, just his friend. But for a second, the face on the screen clearly belonged to someone else. It disappeared just as fast, but that moment stuck with them. Stranger in Black. Sometimes you see things that just don't make sense. That's exactly what happened to an elderly woman while she was out for a quiet walk. She was walking along a path where one side was blocked by tall metal grills. Fully locked, no gate, no opening. Then she saw a man walking toward her. He wore all black and looked normal at first, but what he did next was hard to believe. Right in front of her, the man walked straight through the locked grill, like it wasn't even there. He didn't climb or open anything. He just passed through the metal bars like it was no big deal. Family ritual shock. For weeks, the family had tried to ignore the strange things happening around them. But one night, after yet another unexplained event, the man finally decided to fight back. He sprinkled holy water around the home, hoping it would bring peace. But the moment it touched his wife, her hair suddenly lifted into the air, unnaturally, like it was being pulled by something unseen. Then, as if answering to something, the picture frames on the wall began to shake. From that moment on, they stopped pretending it was just in their heads. Something had claimed their house, and it wasn't ready to leave. Jaw dropper. So, a woman was standing inside a regular store, just browsing like anyone else. But then, completely out of nowhere, she opened her jaw way too wide. Like, way more than what should even be possible. It looked super odd, almost like her face wasn't even hers for a second. People nearby clearly noticed. Her whole face changed, and for a moment, it didn't feel like she was in control at all. But then, bam, she snapped back to normal, jaw closed, calm expression, as if nothing ever happened.
There is kids in here, girl. Get out of here.
Inside and out. A man was looking out of his window one night when he saw a strange figure outside. I don't know if I should call it a figure or a witch or some other worldly being, because it appeared truly weird. But then something even worse happened. As he turned to call his mother, he spotted another figure inside the house. This one looked creepier, like a distorted human or someone possessed. He had no idea how it got in, but sure did know how he should get out. Smiling at night. Late at night, a man was sitting in his room late at night when he suddenly felt like he was being watched. He turned to the window, and there it was. A strange creature stood just outside, staring right at him. It had a weird, wide smile that didn't look human at all. Its big, round eyes seemed to glow in the dark, making the whole thing way more unsettling. The creature didn't move. It just stared, smiling. The man froze. He could tell it wasn't a person. Its face and shape were all wrong. It was clear this wasn't just a bad dream. It was really happening, and the thing wasn't going anywhere. Creepy family moment.
Scary friend.
A father and his young son were lying in bed when something strange happened, and it was all caught on camera. It was just the two of them at home, which made it even more eerie. The son suddenly said there was a scary friend by the door.
Scary friend.
The father looked at the door, unsure what to make of it, while his son repeated, "There's a scary friend." As they left the room, something even weirder occurred. The bathroom door, which had been open, suddenly shut by itself. The father didn't notice it at the time, but watching the video later left him wondering if something paranormal happened. Well, strange things happen when we least expect them. Sometimes, even the most ordinary moments can leave us questioning reality. Stairwell stalker. A man was walking through the stair hall when he suddenly saw someone acting really strange. The guy looked weird. His eyes were all white, and he moved in a stiff, creepy way. It didn't seem like he was in control of himself at all. Then, out of nowhere, the strange man started running toward him. Scared, the man turned and rushed back to his room. He shut the door fast, but the other man followed him and just stood outside the door. He didn't say anything. He just stood there, staring through the gap with those white eyes. The way he moved and looked was seriously disturbing. There was something about those white eyes, completely blank, emotionless, almost like they didn't belong to a person at all. That's what stayed with him the most. Annabelle blinks.
And I'll let you see if you can get something across its path.
Annabelle is probably the most famous haunted doll ever. She's been locked up in a special case for years, and everyone knows her creepy story. But what happened in this video? It made things even scarier. In the video, Annabelle was just sitting inside her church-shaped case, like she always does. Everything seemed normal, until she blinked. Yep. Her eyes closed and opened all by themselves. No one touched her. There were no strings, no tricks, just a clear blink on its own.
Get something across its path. How about that?
Creepy call companion. One girl was casually recording her friend, who was on a phone call. Nothing weird, just a normal moment. Then the camera moved a bit, and boom, something spooky showed up in the background. A pale, ghost-like figure appeared out of nowhere and started moving fast toward the girl on the call. It looked like it was headed straight for her, like it was about to grab her or something. Always make sure to keep an eye on the background. You never know who or what might be watching. Eyes in dark. One woman was just filming herself casually, probably to post online. Everything looked totally normal at first, but then something strange popped up behind her. From a dark corner, a weird creature appeared. Its glowing eyes were clearly visible on the video. It didn't move or make any sound, but once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. The wild part? She didn't notice anything. She just kept talking to the camera like nothing was there. That thing stayed in the corner, just quietly watching. Supermarket shock. We've all had those weird moments at the supermarket, right? But nothing compares to this shocking incident caught on CCTV. A woman was just shopping, carrying a few items, when suddenly she dropped everything. Her body started shaking, and she let out these loud, unsettling shrieks. Then she collapsed onto her knees, still convulsing, while everyone around her just stood frozen. It was clear something wasn't right. Her movements and the sounds she made were nothing like what you'd expect in a normal situation. Some people who saw the footage even wondered if she had been possessed. What do you think happened here? Clown from dark web.
No touching, okay? Everything's cool. Alright, just like relax, alright?
The dark web can be a creepy place, right? Well, two friends learned that the hard way when they found a strange clown through it. What they thought would be just an odd find quickly turned terrifying. This clown wasn't normal. It was taller than any person they'd ever seen, and its face? Absolutely creepy. But what freaked them out the most was the way it moved. It didn't walk like a human, it shuffled in a slow, weird way. It didn't speak, just wandered around the house, leaving the friends frozen in fear, not sure what to do. Well, we should always be careful when venturing into unknown corners of the internet. Some things are best left unexplored.
You're a lot taller than we expected.
Midnight Stalker.
What's up? What's up?
Late at night, around... A security camera caught something unsettling. A woman, clearly distressed, was shouting loudly as she hurried down the driveway. But then something even stranger happened. A figure appeared at the end of the driveway, out of nowhere, almost like it had materialized right out of thin air. As she continued to shout, it was clear she wasn't alone. She was being followed. But who or what was following her? The answer remained a mystery. Guard and the Ghost. One night, a security guard was seen talking to someone in the hallway. When his team asked who he was talking to, he said, "A lady passed through that door." The team was confused and told him there was no lady. That's when the guard realized he had been talking to someone, or something, he couldn't see. It turned out he had been talking to a ghost. It's crazy to think someone could be chatting with a ghost and not even know it. If that were me, I'd be freaking out. Backward chase. Late one night, a woman was walking through a building when she noticed a figure chasing her. But it wasn't just running, it was walking backward, moving unnaturally fast. She couldn't believe her eyes as it quickly closed the distance. Panicked by the sight, she ran as fast as she could, and eventually made it out alive of the strange building. Faceless flyby. One night, a person heard a weird sound outside and looked out the window. What they saw shocked them. A child flying toward them. The child's face was hidden by hair, and she was floating with glowing eyes. As she got closer, the person realized she had no face at all. Terrified, they quickly pulled the curtain shut to hide from the strange creature. If I were in that situation, I'd probably be freaking out too. Unseen forces. It's wild to think about what could be lurking around us, unseen. This footage is a perfect example of that. A woman was just doing her usual work when, out of nowhere, something powerful grabbed her. Before she knew it, she was being pulled into the air, heading toward a room. It felt like a supernatural force had taken hold of her. It just dragged her in the room, but she got lucky and got rid of the strong grip. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. You know how sometimes, in the middle of a scary moment, you end up laughing afterward? It's like the weirdness of it all makes you realize how strange it really was. This woman was standing there, minding her own business, when suddenly, a creepy creature appeared behind her. It had long, tentacle-like suckers hanging from its mouth, and its legs wrapped around her, almost like it was trying to possess her. It just sat there, watching her. Then, out of nowhere, the creature fell off the wall and hit the ground. The woman, startled, quickly turned away and walked off, leaving the creature confused, like it had no idea what just happened.